Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Ayman Hariri. He is the CEO of Vero to discuss the future of social media and the impact on society. Ayman, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and let's talk about the current backdrop right now. Largely unregulated, we know there's been some exploitive activity on social media platforms. Do you think this is because we're not pivoting enough to the human side of moderation when it comes to social media?
Yeah, I think humans always have to play a part in moderation. You can't rely solely on AI. You have to use human judgment. We do that in Vero. We plan on keeping human moderators throughout our journey. We find that also being able to, just also reach out to users and explain how we want things to, or how things work on our platform and what the rules are, just to give them context. And sometimes there's nuance that just a template email can't get across.
So we recognize that there has to be some humanity in the balance of moderation when it comes to social media. What about the importance of AI governance and policy that's been articulated or updated to integrate with how humans are managing this? How important is it for the governance and policy to be put in place?
Listen, I think it's very important when you have something as a game changer as AI being introduced to any platform. You do want to have that sense that, if you do things that are outside the rules, or at least understand the rules, as we're building new and revolutionary technology, so that people get a sense that they have to be mindful of how they use new technology and apply it to platforms as important as social networks.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the key question here is, how do you create the next iteration of social media that's truly designed for the end user's well-being?
Yeah, it's a great question. I always talk about the real world social network. I feel like this term social network has been hijacked by online platforms, and we forget that we live with a social network in the real world. It actually got us out of the caves and led us to the situation where I'm using technology that has been built by people working together. And here we are talking across the world on using this technology. Mm-hmm. And the products of our collaboration as people, as a species on this planet, are incredible, and the kinds of things that we can imagine doing. So it isn't so much about how do we add more sort of solutions to the problems that we've created on this online interpretation of social networks. It's whether we can see the real social network in the real world in these online platforms. And I think a lot of the platforms have gone astray. Our main goal is to take the real world social network and create one online that lets us connect with each other and have technology play its role in connecting us across this planet of ours.
So what's the solution then? Is it updating policy as it relates to Web 2 platforms, or are you leveraging the technology to, let's say blockchain technology as an example, to provide the transparency and be able to, trace back to a user, leveraging Web 3 technologies? What's the answer here? I mean, can you argue that we need to update to Section 230 and perhaps we don't need Web 3 properties, or is it just leveraging new technologies and creating the next iteration of what we consider a social network?
So you asked what the next iteration of the social network is. The next iteration, I believe, is one that actually looks back at the origin of what a social network is in the real world. We are chatting today on a call because we want to talk, and so technology is enabling that. How do we have technology enable the real social network? The second and very important piece of this is that social networks today are built on the attention economy, and it's selling, basically using people's data and selling that to advertisers, or using that data to target them for advertising. And we believe that subscription is the way to go. That's why since day one of this platform that we've been building for about close to 10 years now, we've always said that subscription is the model. So I think the next iteration that gets us to that original social network that we all know and use in our daily lives when we connect with people in the real world, is to go get away from this advertising model, which is an attention based on the attention economy, and going towards subscription. That's what Vero has been about since day one. Everything else then is every other technology that you're talking about, whether Web3, blockchain, et cetera, is just a reinforcement. And you properly use the term transparency. It's whenever you need transparency, use a technology like blockchain, because you're going to be able to provide that transparency. But
Right, and even
I
finally
don't think
here,
it's technology alone.
does this have any impact to the creator economy?
Yes, absolutely. I think creators today, they're trying to make their living online, and they're doing it today through sharing ad revenue in some cases. In other cases, other networks don't even have those kinds of ways of making revenue. For us, we've been out in with this idea that providing value to our creators, even through our equity, and doing that at scale is a better alternative than ads, and it provides a more scalable long-term solution to creators. So creators make money off of revenues and subscription. They can make money off of advertising revenue on other platforms. With our platform, we're mainly focused on having the audience and the users be customers, either of ours or of creators that are providing them with content that is worth paying for, and then rewarding the creators with access to our equity at scale.
All right, Eamon, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks for having me.